Welcome back. And I didn't put this on the board yet. I'll just go ahead and throw this up here. And this is, I will admit this bias. I love to see full 7-game series. I love to see back and forth. And a game like today, did Arizona deserve a better fate? I can't argue that they did because Colorado played a pretty good game, but Arizona played so much better. If they'd played game one this way, we would likely be talking about a split. Now, there's an early chance for Kessel. The Coyotes needed a good start. There certainly was plenty in the pregame about the 14 shots they managed in the first game and how 14 shots this and 14 shots that. The problem is Demers was guilty of a turnover, gives up the puck to Landeskog. You don't want to give up the puck to Landeskog, who then passes it to McKinnon. You don't want McKinnon to have that. And in the first game, McKinnon didn't have a shot. They had 40, but none of them were McKinnon. McKinnon's first shot, it's in the net. 3 minutes and 40 seconds into period number one. It's 1-0 for Colorado. And all I could think was, Arizona's off to a good start, and yet they're down. This is kind of a Coyotes way of doing things. If they get outshot, very often they're better than if they don't. So then Demers, because that wasn't enough to get Arizona fans angry, he takes a penalty, which leads to a power play for the Avalanche. The good news is, while it was a strong-looking Avalanche power play, they weren't getting anything on the net. So as long as they're missing that, the PK did a pretty good job of keeping them to the outside, not giving them very much in the slot. And so there you go. Grabner then had a fast break that was stopped. So I thought Grabner had a good game too. He would show up on the scoring sheet later. The Coyotes had 6 shots in the first 12 minutes. Again, it's worth tracking their shots when they only had 14 in game one. But this was a totally different game, and I will say this for the Coyotes as well. After allowing that goal to McKinnon, and after that penalty call as well, they didn't let down. At no point in this game did it feel like Arizona was out of it or letting down at all. Garland took a stick in the mouth from McKinnon. No call on that one. It's noteworthy because it's McKinnon. The referee didn't see it. And then when Garland was talking about it long enough, the referee basically told him to knock it off. So it's interesting. Keller would get a goal from Hall at 16:49. So towards the end of the first period, we end up with a game that's tied at 1. But that one actually proves that Arizona still hadn't scored a goal because Girard put that one into his own net. So Sam Girard with the help on that one, but Keller gets the credit for the goal from Hall. Then Zadorov gets an elbow on Garland. I saw somebody say that the elbow was because Garland's a lot shorter than Zadorov is, so that's the height difference. Either way, the Coyotes end up with a late power play, so it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Grabner hits a post. You know what happens when the puck hits the post, right? It ends up going the other way. When it goes the other way, very often this happens. Jost gets the goal from Makar and Johnson at 3:37. Interestingly enough, Jost was in the lineup today because Donskoy was not. So because Donskoy unfit to play, we get Jost in the lineup and he gets a goal, which is good. I like Tyson Jost. I don't know if he's going to stay in Colorado for the long haul. They may move on from him if he's been a healthy scratch at points this year and in game one of this series. But I think there's still some potential there. Not likely as high as expected when he was drafted, but I think there's still some potential there. But the lead doesn't last for Colorado. This is where I like what Arizona did today. They never got down. Grabner would get a goal from Richardson and Osterley at 5:06. So another good, hardworking shift from Brad Richardson's line. He's looked very good. So Richardson, solid play for him. The Coyotes were already up to 12 shots. 2 of them had gone in the net. So there's 2 good things. 1, they're not being shut out. 2, they actually got that goal. That wasn't actually deflected off of one of the members of the Arizona or of the Colorado Avalanche, and it wasn't put in by a member of the Avalanche, so that's a legit goal. 2-on-1, Compher was denied. Wide open play both ways. This was a very entertaining game. You may not expect this from Arizona. I know I didn't, and really surprised by the fact this is tied, and it felt more like a Colorado game than an Arizona game. Hinostroza takes a penalty. The Avs go to the power play. Grubauer would then stop Garland on a pretty good chance at the half. I thought Garland had a good game. Calvert then takes a penalty. The Coyotes go to the power play. And then we end up with a 16-second 5-on-3 on a penalty to JT Compher. So things get kind of dicey there, but Chychrun would take a penalty that makes it 4-on-4, leading to an Avs short power play. And I was like, oh, awesome. Here we go with the parade. But the parade kind of stopped at that point. McKinnon had a shot that just missed high. There's a late power play for the Coyotes on a Rantanen penalty. But we go to the third period, tied at 2. Nemesnikov was absent. He actually collided with Nathan McKinnon in the second period and took the worst of it, as most people would if they collided with Nathan McKinnon. But of course, that's friendly fire. Nemesnikov did not return that I saw in the third period, so we'll see if he's out and what that does to the Avalanche lineup for Game 3. Because remember, Game 3 is tomorrow. They play tomorrow, so there's not a lot of turnaround time here. Not a lot of extra days off for anybody. Hall takes a penalty. It's a 4-on-4 for 36 seconds as the parade continued early in the third period. So remember, there was a Rantanen penalty. Now Hall takes one as well. Coyotes penalty kill, though, not allowing shots. Over the 4 power plays that Colorado had, they had 1 shot. That's impressive. So keeping things nice and easy for Kemper, doing some shot blocking and keeping it out to the perimeter. Pretty good game. Fast, evenly played game. Felt 100% different from Game 1. This was absolutely nothing like Game 1 where it was men versus boys. Today, it was a very evenly played matchup. Grubauer was being tested and passing all of the tests in this one after not really being tested in the first game, of course. McKinnon's line was just fantastic. Around the halfway mark, it really, Makar looked great today too. And this is why when people ask, oh, who's better, Makar or Hughes? Yes. Whatever reason you want to give for Makar or Quinn Hughes, my answer is yes. And honestly, both fan bases should be over the moon happy with what they have on the blue line in those two guys. They are going to be fantastic for a long time to come. Chychrun hits a post as the Coyotes got some chances, but it felt like overtime already. And this was about 8 minutes left in the third period. It already felt like it was overtime. McKinnon had a dangerous chance. The Coyotes cleared it, and Makar was playing a ton in that third period. Nieto then had a deflection that was rejected with 3.5 minutes left. But at 17:07, it's Burakovsky from Kadri and Cole, and it was a play where Kadri throws it, just kind of a Hail Mary kind of thing. It ends up on Burakovsky's stick. He almost missed it, to be honest. I didn't put it straight in the middle of the net, kind of put it off to the corner, but it's a goal, and I thought that was a tough break for Arizona, because I thought they played a really good game today, and that late goal really just took the wind out of their sails. Goaltender gets pulled with 2 minutes left. The Avs did miss the empty net, hit the side of it, and I thought, boy, howdy! If Arizona actually ties this, it's going to be an interesting post game, especially if Arizona then were to win it in overtime. But even though they call a timeout with 16 seconds left, and they were on the 6-on-5 for so long, Arizona just wasn't tying this game. So great game for Colorado, great game for Arizona. It's a shame either team had to lose, and this is where I'm just a regular hockey fan watching this. This was a fun game to watch. Colorado's now up 2-0. And, again, much like Chicago with Vegas yesterday, you throw everything you have at them. You play a really good game. You see your star players playing some really good hockey, and then you come out down 2-0. It has to be frustrating. It has to be, because, again, you have to win. And I know yesterday I mentioned this, and I'll mention it again. You have to win 4 out of 5 now. So you can take it one game at a time, sure, but the big picture is you have to win 4 out of 5 against a pretty darn good team. So Colorado now in the same position as the Golden Knights. Colorado outshot Arizona 10-9 in the first. The shots were 16-9 Arizona in the second, and then the shots were 9-8 Colorado in the third. Final shots were actually 32-28 in favor of the Coyotes in this one. The hits were 28-24 in favor of Colorado. I put Montreal up there. I was watching the Montreal game when I put that up there. 2 games on at once. It does get kind of, because your ears can only listen to one game at a time. Now, if your ears can listen to more than one game at a time, good. But I can only really focus in an audio manner on one game or the other. So sorry for having Montreal up there. Power plays, both teams went 0 for 4. Kemper went 25 for 28 in the save department, and look at Grubauer, 30 saves on 32 shots. His numbers pretty fantastic through the first 2 games. And tomorrow, Arizona has to win. Tomorrow is absolutely have to win territory for Arizona. And that game starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, so it starts at noon again tomorrow. So they don't have a lot of turnaround time, which can be good, because then you don't have as much time to focus on it and overthink things. But at the same time, they also don't have a lot of time to recover from any injuries and bumps and bruises they took in this. Of course, Nemesnikov's bumps and bruises came courtesy of McKinnon, as far as it looks anyways. But let me know your thoughts regarding this game in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.